And you guys got quiet when Jerry's not here. I'm not sure what the deal is. Okay, let's see, do we need to vote on that, Brian? Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved? Second? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? And then, Brian, we have another request?
Yes, we received a request to limit parking on the 300 block of Collins Avenue. After reviewing it with public safety, they are recommending that we do not accept that request. Chief Winter is here if you have any specific questions or concerns.
Okay,
I did have a question.
go ahead.
From what I can tell in that block, it's only 3 houses, 3, and 2 of the 3 signed. Is it a problem with the third? Is that why they're asking for this, or?
No, they're claiming in the letter that they have parking across the driveways, across the driveways. But they, as I know, they never called in a single parking complaint for that block.
Okay, so if we told them, hey, file a complaint on the parking, because. Okay. Sure, no, I understand that, I just. Okay. Okay, because I did drive it. It's very narrow, and those 3 houses are like right on top of one another. But I'm all for having them file complaints. I just didn't know what we'd do if they did complain, if we'd do anything. Okay, that was my question.
Okay,
I have a follow-up to Austin's. I also went by and looked at that today, and and I had the same thoughts on it, that if 2 out of 3 of the residents on that block were in favor of doing it, I wondered why we were recommending not to. Also, what would they be complaining about? Is there a city code or anything other than if they actually blocked their driveway? If they parked across from it?
Blocked the driveway, the letter said there was parking across the driveway.
Right.
So I don't know if that meant that they could go in and out, or they just, I can't remember. All I had to go on was what the letter that was submitted, that they signed.
Well, I mean, we are recommending that they file a complaint. What would they be complaining? I mean, is there a city code that says that you cannot you cannot park across the street from a driveway entrance?
You can't block the driveway.
Right,
Or otherwise park in such a manner that would be my ability to turn into my driveway.
yeah. My thoughts are that if, I mean, as narrow as that street is, then, you know, that if they park right directly across from the entrance to the driveway, it's still going to be a problem getting in and out of their driveway. But there's nothing to complain about. Okay.
If they feel they're actually choosing to do something, I have 0 complaints from them that I've been able to find, if they called any complaints in, parking complaints at all in that block. And I went back to 97.
One more question.
I'm going off what the letter said. The complaint, the chief complaint is people parking across the driveways.
I think we have one more question.
I was just curious, was somebody from this letter here tonight to speak? Okay, well then,
I think it's just correspondence
okay,
received.
well, in that case, I'm fine with responding to them. I don't know the proper course here, but I'd respond to them and say, please file a complaint with our police department, and log our complaints, we can see exactly what the issues are, and we'll, after we see reports, then we'll reconsider at that time. That would be fair. You need a motion for that? Or?
Do we need a motion to deny that request?
They've already been advised, I think, haven't they, to file a complaint?
I don't think it takes an action to deny the request. Randall, do you?
I would say only if we're going to approve it,
Yeah.
would you vote on it?
Okay,
So we'll just pass it.
We'll respond to them that way and
Yeah.
see what follows up.
And they might have some more information they can give to us.
Exactly.
Okay, I have next, public hearing and receipt of bids. We have
There's
anything?
none scheduled tonight.
Okay. And moving on to ordinances and resolutions, number 4.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem. I have an ordinance repealing section 40-715, subsections 68 and 69, and replacing section 40-715, 67 with the City Code.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? If not, call for the first reading.
An ordinance repealing section 40-715, subsections 68 and 69, and replacing section 40-715, 67 of the Moberly City Code.
Okay, any questions or discussions regarding this? Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. If not, call for the second reading.
An ordinance repealing section 40-715, subsections 68 and 69, and replacing section 40-17, 67 of the Moberly City Code.
Okay, do we need to vote on that again? All those in favor?
Call for a roll call.
Oh, I'm
vote.
sorry, roll call now. Thank you very much.
Yes.
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 Okay, that passes. Number 5.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I have an ordinance amending ordinance number 9587, and I ask that it be read twice for passage.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do you have a second? All those in favor? Say aye. Those opposed? At this time, call for the first reading.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9587.
Any questions or discussions regarding this one? No? Call for the second reading.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9587.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please? Yes.
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 I think I heard a yes from Jerry. That passes. Number 6, ordinance.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have an ordinance accepting change, I assume that's a typo, it should be change order number 1 in the amount of $3,528 to the Fisk Avenue Trail Improvement Project. Has to be read twice for acceptance.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? At this time, I'll call for the first reading.
An ordinance accepting change order number 1 in the amount of $3,528 to the Fisk Avenue Trail Improvement Project.
Any questions on this discussion regarding this change? No? Okay, call for the second reading.
An ordinance accepting change order number 1 in the amount of $3,528 to the Fisk Avenue Trail Improvement Project.
Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I'll make that motion to accept.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Now roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Moving on to ordinance number 7. Was that 7? No, that's a different one, excuse me. Anybody have 7?
Sorry, me still one more person being around. All right, I have an ordinance accepting change order number 1 in the amount of $39,884.80 to the Route M Phase 2 pedestrian bridge.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Randall, if I could have a call for the first reading?
An ordinance accepting change order number 1 in the amount of $39,884.80 to the Route M Phase 2 pedestrian bridge.
Okay, any questions or discussion regarding this? Gillen, go ahead.
Are we still under the impression that this is the last one for this bridge? It is the last one. All right, that's what I want to know.
Okay, any other questions? If not, call for second reading.
An ordinance accepting change order number 1 in the amount of $39,884.80 to the Route M Phase 2 pedestrian bridge.
Okay, at this time, I ask for a motion to enact ordinance number 7.
So moved.
I'll second it.
First, second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so that passes. Number 8,
Ask for
please.
the roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. Thank you.
Yes.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yes.
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 I think I know how Joe Biden feels right now. Number 8, ordinance approving and confirming certain licenses. Who has 8?
I do.
You do?
Yes, and I'd be happy to read it to you.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have an ordinance approving and confirming certain licenses, approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, and providing further authority. I ask that it be read twice for passage.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All those approve, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Call for the first reading.
An ordinance approving and confirming certain licenses, approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, and providing further authority.
Any questions or discussions regarding this one? Nope. If not, call for second reading.
An ordinance approving and confirming certain licenses, approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, and providing further authority.
I ask for a motion to enact ordinance number 8.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Roll call.
Yes.
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 That passes. Move on to number 9, which is a resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I have a resolution approving social media training from Mark Fiedelholtz, social media attorney. I ask to be read once for approval.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Call for the reading of the resolution.
A resolution approving social media training from Mark Fiedelholtz, social media attorney.
Any questions or discussions on this?
Yes, and I guess this goes to our city manager, is that, and I forgot how much it's for the exact amount, but does that include every employee that we've got, and do we expect?
$9 per employee, yeah.
I'm sorry,
$9 per employee.
how much?
9,
$9?
yeah. I believe that's right.
Is that per session or?
Thought that was like $30 an employee or something like that. But it does, I mean, my question's not on how much it is. I just wondered if we expect all the employees to go through that.
Yes. Yeah.
I
I thought it was about Yeah, it's $9 online training, I believe, that's right. $9.97 is the policy review.
$9 per employee, okay.
Okay, other questions, discussion? Had a couple of questions along that line, Brian. Are the employees, is this a required for the employees to take this?
Yes.
It will be, okay.
Training. Yeah, so it's higher. So we'll train everybody up, and then as new employees come on, they'll get trained.
They can be trained also? Okay, and then my other question, I guess, goes towards Randall. I'd like to know your opinion of this. Whether you're,
In the training?
well, yeah, this particular company and this type of training, if you're in favor of it from your perspective.
I am in favor of it. We've had a couple of instances in the last year where employees use social media and aren't always really guarded with what they say and how they say it. And so it would be really impactful for them to understand what all goes into their use of social media, whether or not they're identifying themselves as a city employee, whether or not they're representing the city, also their First Amendment rights to use social media. So, yeah, it's a really good training course, just so that employees understand the consequences of what they do.
I have another question.
Okay, another question, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at my packet, and it's showing the total cost is $3,900 for around 129, which would equate to around $30. Is there a discrepancy in that? It just says the total cost will be $3,900 for around 129 people. I'm still not against it, I just want to make sure we understand what the cost is.
Everything says 3,900, the summary and the actual.
I was thinking when I read through it, they actually put or help us put our policy together. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the 9.
Right. So the total cost would be more in the range of that 3,900 then?
It shows, it's broken down into 6 components. And as Chief says, some of it is the policy and everything, but at the bottom, it shows total cost 3,900 for around 129 people. So, you get 6, looks like you get 6 core program modules, and, looks to be worth the money even at $30 a person.
Very reasonable. Okay, any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, we priced this out about a year ago, and since then, I got the updated prices from them, so we're anticipating those are the prices that's on the screen. So that's my last correspondence with them.
This is the updated at $9. Bargain.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? If not, could I have a motion to approve number 9? Can I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution passes. Number 10,
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I have a resolution approving contract documents with Cassell to provide utility billing and management, finance licensing, and permitting software.
can I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Call for the reading of the resolution.
A resolution approving contract documents with Cassell to provide utility billing and management, finance, licensing, and permitting software.
Okay, any questions, discussion on this one? I did have one question. Greg, you're probably the one to ask. It's probably in here and I just missed it, but what time frame are we looking at before we get all this actually working? And
It's going to be 6 months to a year by the time we're up and running. The first 6 months is going to be quite a bit of data conversion and just wading through all of the data files that we have, excuse me, that we have now, determining what we need to bring across and what's going to go into basically like an archive state. Then we'll have some training time in Provo, Utah. We'll have to go out for a week, so we'll have to figure out who we're going to have to send, and that's all before we go live with it.
Okay. And then along that same lines, I noticed, if I remember right, there was a little bit of a discount if we paid upfront versus monthly payments on this.
Yes, it's about $2,000 a year,
So
ballpark.
are you all suggesting we pay upfront before we have this in fully working and paying the whole amount upfront?
No, there won't be anything due until we get basically operational with it, if I remember. Is that correct, Mary? Yep.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yep. So the only thing that we'll have upfront, semi-upfront, will be our cost to go to training,
Okay,
send our people out there.
okay. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, Greg, is this monthly or yearly fee, is that going to be paid out of the general funds, or will it be broken out into the different departments?
It's, well, a lot of the other departments outside of utilities basically are served by general services, so it'll be approximately, I don't know, a 50/50 or 60/40, I don't know. We have yet to figure that out, but it'll be a share between utilities and general fund.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? If not, do I have a motion to approve number 10?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Show that approved. And number 11.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a governmental consulting services agreement with Zamkus and Associates, and I ask that it be read once for passage.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
To that motion? Mr. Davis, did you second that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? This time we'll call for a reading of the resolution.
A resolution approving a governmental consulting services agreement between the City of Moberly, Missouri and Zamkus and Associates LLC, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
This time we ask for any questions or discussions. Brian, I had a question regarding this company. Is this basically a one-man operation? Or does he have other staff members? One man? How many years have we used this company? Okay, that's all, okay. I didn't know if we ever went out and looked for other companies that, I'm not so much worried about the money as much as the performance, the production that we see from him.
Yeah, no, I think staff's very satisfied with the service.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
I might also mention that we anticipate he'll be at the next meeting to give a legislative update
Okay, good.
as well.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve
So moved.
number 11?
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? That resolution passed. Down to number 12.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I have a resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri in the amount of $749,958.35. I ask to be read once for approval.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? At this time, I'll call for the reading of the resolution.
A resolution appropriating money out of the treasury of the city of Moberly, Missouri in the amount of $749,958.35.
Any questions or discussion? Thank you. Okay, I hereby certify there is sufficient money standing to the credit of the city of Moberly, Missouri, unappropriated in the several funds covered by this resolution to meet the requirements of this resolution. City Treasurer Greg L. Is that an L? Gregory L. Hodge. At this time, ask for a motion to approve number 12.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? That resolution passed. Moving on, the official reports. Open that up to, go ahead, Councilman.
Okay. A couple of questions I have are, number one, do we have a running total of how much we've spent on the Fennel complex so far?
Yes. Well, I don't have,
Ballpark? $10, $1 million?
it's about 3.2. No. What do you think, 1 to 150 maybe?
The whole
The whole block.
whole block, the complex. 150?
1 to 150, yeah.
Okay. Sales tax. I understand I saw that we're up 25% this year, which is basically 1 month. And if I remember right, we're technically 2 months behind. So July receipts would really be May. Is that right? Okay. So while that sounds great, we're still slightly above where we were in 2018. Yeah, so we ended up 21,000 over the previous year and over 57,000 over the year before that. Did I read that correctly?
Sounds about right.
On the sales tax, on the difference of 2019 to 2020, we ended up with approximately $21,000 more in sales tax than in 2018 to 2019. Okay, and approximately 57,000 more than 2017 to 2018. Okay, and even though we're up 25% this year, we're actually just barely, we're running more like July of 2017, short $5,000. Okay. Health fund. Despite our cash infusion that we did last 2019 and late, do I understand we still went backwards 151,000?
Yes.
And the previous year, we went back like 50-something thousand, if I remember right.
Yes.
So we're technically 30% behind where we were the year before that. Roughly. I did my math on a Sunday evening, so. But my question is, you know, we're doing cash infusions, we've made changes, but yet we're still going the wrong direction. Is that fair to say?
If you look on, actually on my cash balance work,
Yep.
my cover sheet, you know, we come up So we've increased our cash balance to, let's see, in June, we ended at 360,000, but, back in, let's see, November and December, we were at 160,000. So we're $200,000 better than we were.
Right, but when I look at 2018 to 2018, in June, that same time period, we were at 512,000.
Yes,
And the year before that, we were at 569.
right.
So I'm assuming the fund kind of does this through the year, depending on when claims are made, so on.
Right.
So yes, you're right. We did have grown by 200,000 and since November, but I'm looking year over year. We're
Right.
still significantly behind.
Yes, yeah, we're still way behind, but we're making progress. Slow
Understand.
but sure.
So are we any closer to looking at, my concern is last year in November, we all kind of waited to, we were given options at the 11th hour and told you got 2 days to make a decision, keep going. And I felt like we had a gun to our head to say, you got to do this. Since then, we've begged and said, we'd like to see other options before then, so we're not at the 11th hour and forced into something. Are we any closer to being able to look at other options?
Yeah, our broker right now is compiling information. We have a special council meeting on the PBM side
Okay.
next week, I think.
Okay.
Um,
Are we scheduling anything outside of our broker?
What's that?
Are we scheduling anything outside of our broker?
Scheduling anything outside of our broker?
Letting anybody else come and present their ideas on what we should do with our health fund? Like we discussed last November and December and January.
We did that last year, and got prices from them last year, and we can do that again. The problem is, for a January 1 renewal, it's hard to get prices in the summertime, because
Okay.
they look at your loss history to price it out. So it's one of those things that unfortunately, it's the problem with the healthcare
So why
system.
can't we say, we spent this much our last fiscal year, and go to people and say, looking based on this, what would your solution be? So we have an apples to apples comparison.
We did that last year, and we think that those numbers are still valid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I just know last year, several of us were asking to be able to see more presentation, more options, and I feel like we're still sitting here. And
Mr.
we're
Mayor.
getting close to being on the,
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah.
If you recall, we did have a meeting, we had our broker come in
yep,
and do the comparison, and it was based on self-funding versus fully insured.
right.
And the numbers were dramatic in favor of the self-funding approach that we are taking. The thing that's coming up in a week with this PBM is our broker doing what it is we pay them to do, and that is to find ways to mold, improve our program. What we learned in that meeting with the broker last year is that there isn't a magic pill where you can go to an insurance carrier and we're going to pass all these losses off to you and they're going to come back to us with a lower premium. In fact, what we saw was that had we done that, our premium would have been much more than what we're looking at now. So do we have good months, bad months, good years? Yes, but so do fully insured plans. The difference is they control what the increase is going to be. We work on that and improving it. So I just worry that we think that maybe our plan's not functioning, not doing what it should do, and it really is. Now, can you find an insurance agent that'll call you tomorrow and tell you they're going to save you money on it? Yeah, I've been in that game for a long time. You're going to find them all day long. Doesn't happen. I just don't think we're in as bad a position as it might look. And things are turning around, and I'm pleased to see this PBM thing come around. That's a big cost for everybody, is the drugs and prescription drugs. It's a killer. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. That's my point.
Thank you.
To clarify, you're talking about the meeting out at the park that we had at the lodge? Is that the meeting you're talking about, or the one that we had?
The one we had across the street over here when the broker came
Okay.
and went through his presentation comparing self-funded. What if we'd gone self-funded, as opposed to
And my interest is that I want to make sure that we're getting the best policy for the best price that we can get for not only our staff, but I think we owe it to our taxpayers. And that's why I'm trying to say, I'd like to see some options, this versus one person telling, this is the way the world is. I'd kind of like to get a few more opinions, but that's the way I do things, but seems to make sense. But
Well, and I would also include that's the way we see things too. So we look at both options every year. We present those options to you. Unfortunately, it's just not timely sometimes based on the market conditions. And you got to remember, everybody is looking at the same information for a January 1 renewal. So everybody gets busy. All the underwriters get really busy, and it's hard to get information sooner because they want to see, before they give you a price for January 1, they want to see all the data.
Right.
So fully insured or self-insured, they want to wait until they know what the claims history looks like. And we did price. Unfortunately, there's only really two options. There's fully insured or self-insured. And then once you make that decision, then you can mess with the plan design, which we did that last year as well. And unfortunately, the way the market is, I mean, we know that it's either going to be UMR on the self-insured side or their parent company, United Healthcare, on the fully insured side. Those are really there's just not a lot of options, so there's not a lot to look at.
Okay.
And when we did it last year, the prices, were very similar. And we think with the bad year we had last year, those renewals would have been sky high based on our broker's analysis. But our broker looks at both of those.
I got one last one. This is for the water department. I understand in the report that we're still showing an unaccounting of 27.2% of our water usage, but which sounds high, and I know our goal, I think, is 10%, we've talked about in the past. I did want to note that in March, we were saying we were unaccounting for 39.7%. So we've brought that down by a little over 12%, which is not quite a third, but on the way there. And I just wanted to commend the water department with the meters and getting those out, that we are starting to see that drop in amount of unaccounted water. So,
Okay, thank you.
last of mine.
Councilman Davis?
I have a couple questions. First, on the solar panels, I'm a little clear. I mean, it states in here, and I don't know where this is for Mr. Sanders or for Mr. Crane, but it states in here that the output for the solar panels is close to what's expected, and yet we are still not getting the savings. Can you break that down and tell us why? If we're getting the amount of electricity from the solar panels that we contracted for and was expected, why aren't we getting the savings out of it?
So Ameren UE uses different rate plans, so like you get like peak times and off-peak times, and so there could be, I think, up to 3 different rates possibly for one location. And so when MC Power did their calculations, they had used rates that were going to be at the higher rates, and we're not seeing those. And so I can't remember the facilities. There were a couple of facilities where it made some big impacts. Some locations was about what they anticipated, but basically it was in their calculations they used rates higher than what we're seeing. And so, and what they projected as savings. So they've got a couple of different solutions is what they're projecting, either, financing or funding to offset the difference of what they're not seeing, where they messed up, or providing us, another phase of our solar with some credits towards that construction, so equal value. So we're waiting on that. And Mary has been using ESP, which is the ESCO, and so they had some people who are very familiar with the solar stuff, and they looked at the meter translations to make sure there wasn't some kind of an issue with how they were picking up the meter rates and the conversions, and that all appeared to be okay. So that's where we're at right now. I think my understanding is we're waiting on another meeting with MC to set up how we want to do that credit for the difference.
But you're satisfied that MC Power is going to live up to their obligations on
Yes,
as far as their savings?
they have offered those two solutions.
Okay.
Either like credit for what they're not meeting as far as what they miscalculated, or credit towards more construction of solar panels for other areas that are projected.
Councilman Davis, we're just waiting on the final calculations for that before we bring it to the council and show them what the options are. But that's the good thing about having that energy guarantee contract, that if they don't perform, then we have some recourse.
Yeah, I mean, the contract looked like we were in pretty good position on it when we signed the contract. It was just a matter where they were going to live up to their contract, and I'm happy to see that the solar panels are producing the output that they anticipated. I understand the rates, can be different and stuff, but that's kind of the reason that we had that guarantee in there too. So, all right, very good. And I have a second question, excuse me, but there was some resident owners that showed up from along South 4th Street last meeting. Has there been any follow-up on that about their basements were flooded? I just wonder if they have, I think when we left the last meeting, they were supposed to contact Mary and get her more information. Have they followed up on that? And if so, what have we done to it?
I have been in contact with our insurance agents, and it is on my list to call those folks back. I wanted to look at the CCTV footage of the sewer line that we always do, talk to our insurance agent. When we deny a claim, the process actually goes through 3 reviews before the resident is ever denied. So the 2 residents did have backflow devices on their sewer lines, and so we're really kind of confused about why they had a backup. So I will be following up with them.
Okay. I just wondered if they had actually followed up and given you any information on it.
No, I have not. Since that night, I've not had any other information from them.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
I had a question along that same line. When I was reading, I think it was your report, you'd mentioned there was like a sinkhole on Shoemate, I believe you said, and which caused some mud to get down into the sewer system. Did that have anything to do with this same situation?
No.
Or was that a
it's
different time?
It's a different sewer line.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was just a lot of water that came down, and the Shoemate issue was unfortunate.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Kimmons, any other questions or?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No? Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
I have one more, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Go right ahead.
I'm reading this, is it One Green or I-Green? I'm not sure.
I-Green.
I-Green?
I-Green, yeah.
Is that a temporary housing that they're wanting to put up out there in the industrial park? They're not going to, and it's just for the term that while they're building the project?
What's being discussed right now would be just in the construction phase. But they're looking at other things possibly down the road.
I think they do think it's critical to be close to the facility with that operation. So their growers need to be able to respond quickly when elements change.
So we could be looking at a permanent residence?
Some type
on
of,
property.
yeah. At least the conversations I've heard them discuss, it's something that they desire.
Does that present any infrastructure problems for us long-term?
Possibly, yeah. We'll have to work through that. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things at play. Some of it's infrastructure, some of it's zoning regulations.
Okay, that's all I've got. I just was curious about it.
Any others? Okay, moving forward, have anything else to come before the council? At this time, I would like to have our Fire Chief, George Albert, if you would please step forward. I'll try to talk loud. I think most of you already know, it's been on the radio and newspapers that our fire chief, George Albert, has decided to go on to a different phase in life of retirement. And, by the way, I highly recommend it. I think you're going to enjoy it. And I was reading the dates on here. George, you've been with us since August 8th of 2016, and he's retiring as of August 1st, 2020, so right at 4 years. And this reads, presented to George Albert in recognition of his dedication, loyalty, and service to the city of Moberly as fire chief. I know you have accomplished quite a few things that you wanted to. A few, I think you wish you could have, but those were beyond your control. But, right, but any more if you want to.
I really appreciate this. It's been an honor. I like to thank Brian and City Council and some of you. Well, actually, none of them are here except for Mayor Jeffries when I was first hired, but I do appreciate the opportunity to be fire chief, and it's been an honor and pleasure. I've got to meet a lot of great people, work with a lot of great people, and I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys continue to go on. Like I said, some of the stuff we looked at, risk analysis and stations, I think you still need to look at those and consider how we can continue to make it a great department here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Okay, do we have anything else to come in front of the council tonight? If not, I would entertain a motion. Pardon me, what? Are we okay?
So anybody that wants to speak on any item that's not on our work session item, is that what you're asking?
Right. Thank you for that clarification on that. Okay, I think we need a motion to adjourn to go to work session.
Session?
Work session and closed session, right, Brian? Yes.
I'd make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call, please.
Jeffrey? Rubeck?
Yes.
Yes.
Kimmons?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Kaiser?
Yes.
Okay, we will go into work session. Okay, Brian, you want to take it from here?
Yes, the first item on the agenda is the renewal of the agreement for the tech shop to provide IT support and services. The police department has used them for a few years now and is recommending that we move that forward for renewal.
I'm okay with moving forward.
Everyone okay moving that forward?
I think that all the terms and conditions and expenses are the same.
Okay, number two.
So this is a resolution supporting development with MDL Development Company for low-income tax credits, and he's here to present his request. We got you.
You guys should, perfect. Shirley, the name's wrong, it's MB.
MD. Oh, we got you as MDL.
MPL.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you. I was here in '08 and '09. I acquired some land, and we put together country villas out on Silva Lane.
Could you identify yourself, please?
I'm sorry, Kim Lingle with MBL Development. I apologize. Kim Lingle with MBL Development. So in '08, '09, we accumulated some land off Silva Lane. If you remember, it was the Reed's house. If some of you have been here a while, they're out there in the corner. We extended the street and we built elderly housing. And we've got 44 units out there. And what we do is, we'll just flat out tell you, we own the rest of the land out on Silva Lane. And so we've been kind of holding tight, for better reasons, to add on. We have over 60 people on a waiting list. Let me repeat myself, over 60. People don't even put their names down because we've got such a big list. As you probably understand, the junior high school, over the course of many applications, has been applying for tax credits for senior housing down the street. I have tried to stay away from interfering with that application, which has gone in 7 times and been denied for financing 7 different times. And I've been kind of patient. I was here about a year ago and I talked to Tom in the city and they said, Kim, we're going to give it one more crack. I said, well, I want to hold off because I don't want to cause interference. Because I didn't want to get into a political situation. Well, I've held off 7 times, 9 years, and I think I'd like to have a crack at the apple. We're a proven developer, been doing this for 29 years. This is one of my top 5 cities, and I'm in 27 cities that has a waiting list this big. And so I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel comfortable that I could get this over the threshold, which I can. I feel very confident. But I've been waiting for 9 years to come back because of the school. I didn't want to get involved, okay? When we did this the first time, '09, I believe we did this correctly. We did compete against the school. One of the mayors, in fact, the third mayor in Berks, was it Berks, if I remember? Burton, Mayor Burton, said, Kim, there's going to be a group, and they're going to be on a school bus, and they're going to come down, and they're going to be at the public hearing, and they're going to be against you because they want to redo the schoolhouse. I get it. Understand. Completely. I'm from a small town, Windsor, Missouri. I understand it, get it, whatever. Well, the state of Missouri approved our project out here at Country Villas out on Silva Lane that night. And so then I was hoping in '09 and '10 after that they would have a crack at getting that accomplished. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is, I went back a little bit, the state of Missouri has only approved 1 school rehab project since 2013. Only 1. That was in Kansas City. It is very, very difficult, and please don't take this as a negative, because I understand it's sentimental, but it's very, very difficult to spend taxpayer dollars when the cost is so high in a building like that, when you can go out and build a slab on grade cheaper, like what I do. So that's one of the main reasons why the state of Missouri does not want to, how should I say, rehab and add on to schoolhouses, because there's schoolhouses all over the state of Missouri that they could do because of the cost factor. And so what they try to do, they say, well, heck, we need to build affordable housing in the state of Missouri for seniors, right? Well, if we do all the schools and all the old hospital buildings and all the other ancillary buildings that a lot of cities have, we could not use taxpayer dollars efficiently because we need more housing. It's just like this gentleman said here, he's here for the taxpayers. Well, that's what the state of Missouri is doing. They want to build more housing, not less. You know, that's the theory behind it. So I'm kind of giving you that. I'm really not trying to sell you on this idea, but I'm just giving you the facts, okay? We would like to get a resolution of support, and as the mayor
Should I be talking to the mayor over there too? Mayor? I'm sorry, I feel like talking to the mayor over there. Anyway, we would like to get a resolution support for this particular project to file for an application through the state of Missouri, through the Missouri Housing Development Commission, this application period. And we'd like to be the sole recipient and give me one crack at the apple. Like I said, I'm not trying to say that I'm deserving. I'm just saying that I feel extremely confident that I can get across the threshold from that standpoint. I've heard several comments in here tonight about housing. Housing is an acute problem in this community, as you probably well know that. And so if I add additional housing, we're looking at 40 additional units, for example. You're probably going to open up, and I think I did this study when I did this up here. That's 44. Dennis McEwen, I think, did that study for me there at Century 21. I believe 22 people sold a house that moved in my complex. That's a pretty good economic churn, and God bless Dennis. But that's what this is about, really, is an economic churn. If we'll build this, then you're going to open up some additional housing. And so I'm asking for a resolution of support in favor of Country Villas Phase 2. Questions? Yes, sir.
When you built the first phase of this, did you get tax credits for that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there was no competition with the high school at that time, or the old high school?
There was. They applied for tax credits the same year, and the state awarded those to us the very first year. Yes.
And what's the average price of each unit there that I assume they're renting or leasing?
Correct. They're renting. They're renting. The rents are going to range from, I'm going to give you a ballpark range, okay? On the second phase, they're going to range from $475 to $575.
Is that one bedroom or?
Two bedrooms. Two bedrooms, one bath. Is there? You didn't put, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'd be more than happy. I thought you might have put that up there, but I have a schematic of that as well.
I can send it out to you all.
Okay.
It's in your packet, but.
Yeah, I've seen that, but.
It's two bedrooms, one bath, 910 square feet. Okay. And also, if you'll recall, in the middle of that there's a larger building. There's a 3,000 square foot community building right there. If you can see, it's kind of an oblong building right there. And inside that community building is we'll have a computer station, we'll have a manager, we'll have a fitness center, and a full kitchen, because that's usually where they all like to go in and play bingo and cards and have birthday parties. Unfortunately, not with COVID, but we've shut ours down. But in the future, that's what they'll be doing. So that's kind of a key thing, too. There's somewhere to go in the mornings every day and do their thing.
What do you expect these tax credits to be worth?
Good question. They're going down. The tax credit is probably going to average about 80 cents on the dollar right now at the current pricing. So if we're awarded tax credits, we sell those tax credits for about 80 cents on the dollar.
Okay. So what do you anticipate the benefit to you to get these tax credits?
Well, so you completely understand. The benefit to me is zero. Okay, the benefit is to the tenant. I take these tax credits and I lower the mortgage. That's why we can make it affordable. So if I was to build something conventionally, let's say I built one unit conventionally of my set scenario, my rents are going to be probably $850. But when I get the tax credits from the state of Missouri, I take those funds, the 80 cents on the dollar, sell them. Like, for example, a bank will buy them or insurance companies will buy them. I take those funds and I just drop the mortgage down to make the rents affordable. That's why we call it affordable housing.
Is that a condition of obtaining the tax credits?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're talking to a guy,
No,
a novice on this.
absolutely. That's why we make it. That's how we make it affordable, because a lot of seniors. Okay, let's say $900, $850. I'm using round numbers. $900. Well,
Mrs. Jones, who's on Social Security, plus she pays utilities, she can't afford $1,100. You follow me? And then food and Medicare Part B and yada, 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 yada. So what we do is we get it down into $475 to $575. Now she can afford it. He or she, I shouldn't say Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones. Is Mrs. Jones here? I have Mrs. Jones tonight. He or Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones.
But I guess the only thing I would worry about is if it's not, you getting the tax credit is not conditioned on you absolutely lowering the cost of the,
If I don't get the tax credits, I won't build it.
okay. But if you do get the tax credits, you are locked in that you have to lower.
The state of Missouri will lock me in.
Has to do.
Absolutely. The state of Missouri will lock me in and file a land use restriction agreement on that project to make those rents that affordable, to make sure I sell the credits.
And I guess my last question is, and again, I'm a pretty much of a novice on tax credits, but if you get them this year, I understand they're coming out in December. They're supposed to, the state's supposed to say who's going to get them and who's not.
Correct.
If you get them in December, is it still an option the following year for us to get it from for the high school?
Absolutely, absolutely. Every year, there's an allocation and an application period. What I said previously is I've held off for 7 applications because of the school. I have not come in. But yes, the answer to your question is yes, they can come back this time next year and file an application. And usually it's about September of each year. They're notified in December. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not dead in the water.
I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Councilman Kimmons?
Just a quick question. You've competed for these tax credits with the junior high people before and won. Why is it necessary to be exclusive on this time?
It's a good question, Mr. Kimmons, very good question. This is the reality. If you have 2 applications, and I've been in numerous cities like this, okay? 2 applications, 2 developers for the same amount of funds, let's say. That goes into the state of Missouri. The state of Missouri says, okay, well, if the city of Moberly can't decide, why in the hell, what can I do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if they can't figure out who they want, because they don't, you know what I'm trying to say? You have 2 applications, they say to themselves, well, pass. We'll go up to Trenton. We'll go to Chillicothe. Kind of need to be, does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
I was kind of blunt, I'm sorry.
Councilman?
And to clarify, you've competed with them the first year when you
received, yes.
You waited, and I thank you for your patience for doing that.
Yes.
I do think it's interesting. You said you had 60 on a waiting list. Obviously, not all of them will commit once you do get it, but you said 40 units is what this phase would be?
Correct.
You have future phases planned?
Well, thank you very much for asking this question. I should have shared this to you too, but can you see how this is, can you see Silver Lane?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I currently have an option on the red property. Everything else is mine. Okay. The yellow is where we are today. The green is still mine today, and I have an option on the red. So I have property here and here. So right now, we're going to add here, and then we can go here. And then we can also go back. So the answer to your question, I have all of that.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay. I understand we have another application to discuss as well. I'd move that we,
I had some questions.
go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah,
You, how many years have you been doing this?
29,
29 years, and you have, what, you said 27 projects?
27,
So you're going to be doing 40 units. Are they going to be the same square footage as the existing ones?
Correct.
I've been through the existing ones when they were first built.
out of Country Villas?
Yes. Yeah.
Correct.
And it's a very nice complex out there.
Thank you.
Then you mentioned the building that's currently out there in the center where you have the manager. And so will you have another manager?
Yeah, well, we won't have another manager.
Okay.
Our community, we've decided that our community building isn't quite large enough to
Okay.
handle another 40. So we're going to build a separate one. And so now, and then when we add on, like he suggested, the third phase, is our goal, by the way, we'll have 2 buildings to fit approximately 120 units.
Okay.
That's our goal.
And then, so let's say you get approved for this, and what time frame usually does it take to actually complete the project?
12 to 14 months.
Okay.
Depending on the winter weather. We did this one in 11, but I've done 14, the winter.
Right,
The
sure.
winter. We will start in the summer. We'll start approximately July 1 and hopefully finish by June 30th the following year.
Okay. And I'm just curious on this. Do you normally have your own, like, contractors or builders come in to do this, or do you use local builders? And do you buy your supplies locally, or?
Correct. We will subcontract it out. In fact, there's, I can't remember the name of all the subs we use. It's been like 9 years. But go back to, I can tell you, because I heard him talk about sales tax, we'll do everything, and we've been buying a lot of stuff here from Lowe's of late. We'll probably generate over $1 million out of Lowe's just in lumber and products. So there's some sales tax revenue there, because that's who we've been using of late. So if that
Okay.
answers your question. But we will sub it out.
And then, like the infrastructure, the streets, and
Correct.
you'll sub all that out? and-
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I think that's all the questions I have.
Right.
Oh,
One follow-up. What kind of timeline are you looking for? I know that they're going to make a decision in December. When do you have to have a decision out of us as to whether we'll support this?
Our application is due right around Labor Day, 1st of September. So I'm not going to, I don't know the exact date. I don't even know, where does Labor Day fall on this year? Probably be like the Tuesday or Wednesday after Labor Day. 5th or 6th, maybe? That's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay.
So we'll do it.
Somewhere around Labor Day.
Right, correct.
10, Mayor.
It'll be September.
Mayor sent me a question for him.
oh, okay. Brian, go ahead.
So the mayor sent me a text, just wanting to know if the connecting of the road, that Silva Lane, is required, and if there would be any costs for either of us on that.
That entire road is already all connected. That entire road is already built.
I think he's talking about an extension of Silva Lane. At one time, there was something proposed on that road, they looked at maybe some, city doing that, they drove all that road, we talked about that, so there's not a requirement.
The Silva Lane has been constructed, MBL built that road back when they did the first phase, so the development that's being proposed would be accessed off the existing road that they constructed. There was some talk at one time about possibly trying to extend Silva Lane on through to Morley. That wouldn't be required for this project. But it would be a good option for down the road for other development in that area.
So I
There'll be
think-
no cost to the city on anything.
Okay, so there's no need for extension of the road, I think is basically what he was asking. Yeah, you got it.
Well, since you brought up Mr. Mayor, if you can hear me right now, is there any other questions you have?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Maybe mention, because we talked about the junior high, I don't think it was the same development or even the same owner in '09. I think that property's changed hands a few times since the early 2000s, and I think I don't remember the current owner and developer, I don't remember how many times they've actually submitted, but there was quite a few companies that tried it, I think.
I don't know the exact number, but at least 4 different developers tried it. I know for at least 4, maybe even more, but at least 4 have tried.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
At this time.
Do we want to move this forward, or do we want to
I think out of fairness, I know somebody else is here to talk as well about their request for us to do this. I'm very impressed with this, but I think out of fairness, we need to allow the other presenter to
That's fair.
present.
Sure,
That's fair.
sure.
Ken's a good guy. Ken's a good guy.
Are you okay with that?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
I was just talking to Tom, who was here in '09 when these proposals were submitted together, and he said that they did at some point ask either informally or formally the city which application we would rather have move forward, and I don't know what form that was, but there is potential that you could move both of these projects forward and at some point say which one you want, it sounds like, or just, do one or the other. So it sounds like at some point through this process, they might ask us which one we think is most important. Does that sound?
Sounds very reasonable, yeah. Yeah.
So Tom wanted me to relay that the city was asked in '09 about that question.
Okay.
You definitely do not have to not allow somebody to put an application. You can't say, Ken, you can't put in an application. But the key to it, I think, is make a decision which one you like.
Right.
So,
I agree.
Again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item, Mayor, is the number 3, which is the receipt of bids for the utility disconnects for water and sewer services. And you can see we got one bid back from AG for, I think it was $550 per property, so we are requesting that be moved forward.
Okay. Any issues there? Move that forward, okay. We'll move that one forward. Number 4.
Okay, so these next 2 items are related to the old junior high project and Tannehill Apartments. One is, since the city is acquiring that property, a cooperative purchase and development agreement would be required to enter into an agreement with Ken Nurnberger and his company. And then the next item would be that resolution of support. So Ken and Tracy are here to give a presentation on that.
Thank you. Do you have some slides up there? Okay. Well, while they get the slide, it's okay because that can. I don't know if many of you are here. When I started, and I was aware, I always lost track of how many previous times this was submitted, but ND Consulting started, have submitted, this will be our 4th time, 3 times. So I don't know if that says I'm stupid or we're all dumb or what is it, but we certainly don't take no for an answer very well.
Could you identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Ken Nurnberger, principal of ND Consulting Group, and Tracy may periodically talk here, Tracy Parati with ND Consulting. Okay, thanks. So, yeah, that's kind of down the way, but let me, first, how we got here, I want to be clear, there was a previous developer who had failed, had a very high price in the building. They were looking to get rid of the building, and they went to Sugar Creek Capital, a state tax credit investor, and asked if they knew anybody would take it. They knew that Horizon Housing was a nonprofit that goes around the state and provides services to affordable housing, and they would be interested in doing it. Tim Berry of Horizon Housing asked if I was interested because we were doing developments in Columbia and across the strait as consultants and developers. That evolved, and so in the end, the building was donated to Horizon, and we, with them, have then submitted for 3 applications. And I'll give you the brief how we've changed over those years, but we really did try to change it from the previous developer, and most importantly, we didn't have acquisition costs. So we greatly lowered the cost from those other ones that Kim mentioned, which was the first big change. And so we started fresh with different different contractors, lenders, and So I want to kind of go through what we've tried to do to make our project more competitive and get Missouri Housing Development Commission to approve it. The first time, we were using the gym, theater, if you know the building, and we were making beautiful apartments in that space. That was very expensive. And at the time, we were using state and federal historic tax credits as well as low income to drive down the amount of credits being requested. And I think Kim's correct. We've had elected officials who did not like the use of historic credits with low income, said they were too expensive. So when we looked at what do we do the next time to make it more competitive, first we took the historic credits out of the formula so we didn't have to spend more money on meeting the standards, historic standards. We also then said, let's take out the gym because that was the most expensive part of the property, and make a new building on the back. So that's the first year, the second application, and the city was very supportive. We decided to take out the building. The city, wanting some of the ground and working cooperatively with you, said, well, we could trade some ground. If you could tear down the building, you all invested in tearing down the back of the building, and we did lower priced new construction off the back. So that was the first major change. And we were still preserving, I would say, the first part of the building, and that was, and still is in the application today. So the next year, we thought that was the most important look at the building and had great support from the city and the community. What we did the following year then to further try to get what comments MHTC had given to us about what to do. We revised the back to make the connection, and they're in drawings. If you want to see them, we can talk through them. Put in more units to drive down the cost per unit, changed the connection to the building with the architect and the contractor to make it more price competitive, and doing everything we could to keep meeting MHTC standards. Plus, we got connected with more senior services in the community and have a great service plan. And finally, we and the Horizon Housing committed to providing $115,000 over the term of the tax credit to provide money for the services provided in the building. That again was looked positively, but during this time, the state credits went away, so only about 12 to 15 projects statewide could be funded, so fewer and fewer projects were being funded. Once again, we didn't make it. So this year, we went in and said, we figured, well, MHTC doesn't want to fund it, and they said just the opposite. No, we really, really want to do this. And they gave us more suggestions that we are presenting today that to continue to try to make the 2020 application the best. And that is, we're now partnership with NECAC. If you're familiar, they have a development of 24 units, very close to Kim's development. It does have a waiting list, and MHTC just suggested a not-for-profit because of home funds and other things. Part of the application would make this more fundable. So we've agreed, and she's agreed with our NECAC's executive director that they would be a partner in the project for the life. They'll be the manager because they already have the property, again, with a waiting list like Kim does. And that she feels very strongly that it will fill up very quickly because there's so much demand for senior housing. Also, another thing that was requested that we thought would be against MHTC standards, but they said no, and that is we're going to put market rate units in there that'll be also very affordable, but will not have the restrictions of 60% of median income. That means that if some senior person is making $30,000, $35,000 a year, they will be able to move in here in the 5 to 7 units, and we're working out the final numbers, so that not everybody has to qualify for 60% of median income. And then finally, we added that they want some very low-income residents and that are at 30% of the median income, which there are plenty of seniors at that, and that's where NECAC comes in helpful because they are the administrator of the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and they may make those look for people with that very low income so they can also benefit from a quality housing here in Moberly. So all these things we have done, and then finally, NECAC and our firm will work with Horizon Housing, who's staying committed to the property to provide funding for the services. So we have done things to try to enhance the project that we've had the other few years, and we're working very hard to make this funding. One thing that I have to say I disagree with Kim on is, because actually Brian asked me if someone else came in, what do you think? And I say, let MHTC decide. I would never say, don't support one project over us. We've competed in Columbia and St. Louis, all across the state and all across other states, that, you hopefully have the best project, and hopefully you get funded the following year, but that everybody goes in and tries to be funded. I want to also say that to me, since we've been involved, and I think Brian can attest, and Tom, it's been a partnership with the city. Why are we still here? The city has done, as a matter of fact, Tracy, what are the first year we had 40 some odd letters of support? 60. So it seems like, so we've felt and still feel that one of the reasons we are still here is the city and everybody in the city, the whole community, has been on nothing but support us in trying to come up with the best project and to get MHDC. We cannot at least understand why the last 2 years, nothing north of Jefferson City has been funded, really. It's excluding St. Louis City and Kansas City. For some reason, things north of that line have not been funded. So we really are overdue. And we understand, we don't know for sure, but there is some talk, a lot of talk, that the governor is going to reinstitute some of the state tax credits, which would allow more projects to be done. And there really are, because of a delay, there's really like 2 years of credits that are sort of backed up. Normally in September, and we're still waiting to see if they're going to have us apply in September with the December approval, that usually would be, those would be 2021 credits, but we're actually only doing 2020 credits in September, December. So there really is a backlog of a whole another potential projects. We have we're really pretty excited. We have a team that we've put together a few years ago that the Altman Charter, for instance, is a contractor. The question was asked. They do them all across the country, and they always are involved in local communities. It's not like they're based in St. Louis, but they go get into the community because it's only practical to bring everything from local labor and local products. It's not practical to bring it far. St. Louis Design Alliance has both experience in rehabbing buildings and doing a building like this, where they took an old building and added new buildings to it, and it's worked out great. It's called McKinsey Point in St. Louis. And then we're really excited that NECAC is going to be part of it this year, which wasn't the previous year. And we did ask them, by the way, and they were submitting something else and didn't want to compete. But this year they've decided this is their project and they want to come in and do it. And then, of course, us who have been in it and have been in this business since 1987. Lose track of how many years that is. But so we are anxious to work with you again. By the way, our units are similar makeup. We have 10 one-bedrooms, 38 two-bedrooms. And because of the nature of the building, we have great common space in the lower level that will have, again, meeting rooms, card rooms, small serving kitchen, similar amenities. And one of the things that we do here from both Illinois, that we do business in Missouri, is the idea of having the building in the core in a walkable downtown. And that's where both states are talking about wanting to support those kinds of buildings, and they happen, sometimes they're new, and this happens to be a historic building that then with a new addition that people can walk out and walk into your town. And that means they can get around without having to drive all the time. which is one of the characteristics often of these projects that are, to Kim's point, they're probably cheaper. We've done everything to drive our costs down. We're within the cost containment guidelines by MHTC, but then again, they're out and you have to drive into places this way. The seniors can be part of the walkable town, which is a big part of, has been a big part of our application. Like, do you really want us to tear down this great building to have what will be a more plain, attractive but plain new building? And we happen to think and agree with a lot of people in this town that have said they'd rather have the historic building stay and then meet the cost. So,
Any questions? Austin?
Did I hear correctly, 10 plus 38 is the number of units?
48 total.
48 total.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that somebody tore down the old gym, and you're looking to replace it with a new gym.
Nope.
Or not a new gym, but a new building so you can get to the 48?
Right, if you see the building to the right up there, that's the old school. And then the building that goes out, that creates the arm, is the new construction.
Okay.
And so what we did, first it was 3 stories, now it's 4, and we made the building more consistent with the floors of the old school, which is only 2 floors, but really 3, because there's a lower level. I mean, I have people talk about that we're using on the very bottom of the front building. On the first level, there's a lower level where I think there was a mechanical shop or something. The people went to school there, remind me who taught there, okay?
Shop.
But that.
Shop classes down there.
And that level connects now with the first level of the new building. And that's how we were able to, and by adding more units, it drives the cost per unit down. It makes it more affordable. And as we heard, like Kim had said, the market demand is pretty strong. So we think we were a little afraid of filling up the units, but that does not seem to be a problem.
So the part where the L isn't on, do I understand that is for the park? Or is that going to be parking for this structure?
Can't see it on this, but can you go to the back one? It was, the dotted line was on the last screen. It's about 50 by 183. It's right next to Tannehill Park.
There, hold there.
Okay.
Yeah.
See that dash line?
Wasn't the park supposed to get part of the land? My second question is in one of your slides, you still mentioned Horizon. Are they going to be involved in your new proposal?
Yeah, as donating money to the provision of services over the life of the project.
Okay, because they must not have confidence in the sense that they sold the building back to us.
No, they committed to accept the building and at least hold it for 3 years, so they got so that the donor could get the contribution. They did that because we always had a commitment, again, being like partners, whenever that could happen. This was a building that affected your city. Horizon had no reason to stay in and own the building if the city wanted to have it, because it was about making this a asset for the city, not a profit-motivated development. So no, as a matter of fact, Tim Berry and Dan Lee, we just talked about, keeping re-engaged with all the community, because they did all the work with the community groups here to help them, fund them to provide services in the building.
Because I guess I'm curious why we bought a building if they're still involved with the project. I mean, to me, it sounds like they don't have confidence in their application if they're...
They were not making it. I mean, I think I know the answer. They weren't making any money, so they were just holding it, and everyone thought it would be better for the city to hold. By the way, the sale was just our cutting lawns and doing maintenance. There was no money for anything else in that price. That was just literally their year-to-year investment, and they get the money back because they're going to stay committed to providing services, money for the services. They're not a nonprofit that provides direct services. Groups in this community, and they're up there on one of the slides, but the funding was going to go to the UM Extension Services, the Oasis Institute, Oats Magic Shuttle Bus for passes, and then Randolph County Caring Community for monthly food boxes, cooking classes, and things like that. So their money would still go to your community for services to seniors that just happen to live in this. Yeah, there was, when you donate a building, there's generally a requirement that a nonprofit holds at least 3 years because it's issues with the IRS. If you know anything about tax law, they prefer not to see it go, and then you've taken a donation and then you sell for something cheaper. In this case, the sale is, I mean, that's what you all are paying for the building if you buy, is the holding cost from Horizon Housing.
Well, now that we own the building, and if we granted your agreement to option to buy it down the road if you get the tax credits, what I understand, according to one of the reports, we need to spend over $100,000 to secure the building and so on. Are you expecting us to spend that money to secure it and get it going so it's ready in case you win the contract?
Anything you pay for maintaining the building, we would put into either the rehab cost or the acquisition price. We expect you to take no loss during the holding period whatsoever.
And my last question is I noticed in one of the reports that we do have a rough draft of an RFP to send out to open it up to allow anybody, now that it's a city property. I understand we've had other developers that have expressed interest in the building or the land. How close are we to have an RFP ready to go out the door, and how long of a time do we need for the answers from the RFP?
That was discussed at the last council meeting. We started working on the draft.
Okay.
So we're ready to go. We could crank it out pretty quick, like days. And we've talked to a few developers. They said, they'd probably need 60 to 90 days to respond to that type of an RFP.
In that case, I'll make my appeal. I would like one more chance after 3 years to do this year, and the time frame is very quick because it's presuming that MHTC will in fact give a application of September 1st. At least it would be hard to get an application done and in and submitted to MHTC by that time frame. And if you give me one more chance, I mean, I'm probably not going to be interested anymore because I've done everything I think I have done and everything MHTC has asked for and worked well with the city to try to achieve it. And at some point, I guess you just got to give up. But
And that's kind of where my question is, and we've tried 7 times or however many times.
Please do not include me on those previous ones. I don't even.
Done 3, right?
I have done 3. That is true, and made major changes in each one. This one here is are not physical changes and are minor changes, but they are changes that MHTC requested. So, and I think you all have talked to, others have talked to MHTC. I don't think anyone says, well, we even asked, are we the problem? Tell us, we'll move on.
I'm not saying it's personal.
No, I'm not taking it personal. No, if it's our development team or something, but if the city wants to, we have the history of rehabbing buildings. We've successfully done that in many places. We did a project in Boonville, 47 units, took an old factory building. It's done great right by the casino. We as consultants renovated buildings in Columbia. We've done things in North St. Louis. We've done in South St. Louis, and they're great projects. So I'm sad. I don't disagree that there has been a period where not doing schools has been something, and particularly when you ask for, and I would paraphrase that or qualify that, If I asked for historic credits, I would not get funded. I could tell you that that was the truth for Nixon and for Greitens. They did not want to give historic credits because they perceived that it was double dipping. You're getting more credits, therefore you're getting more money and making more money. Actually, what MHTC did is they took the federal historic credits and the state historic credits and reduced the amount of state low-income tax credits because then they could get more affordable projects done. So it was a way of leveraging more, but that's not how it was perceived, and that's reality. So we quit asking for historic credits because that was a negative, and we brought the cost of the units down by getting rid of the most expensive part of the building. So, I mean,
Any other questions?
Mayor, the previous speaker said that MHDC was reluctant to fund or do tax credits for older buildings, and what he said made sense because it's a lot more costly to rehab an old building than it is just to go in and do a slab project and from where you don't have any reconstruction or anything. But you just stated that you have a history of rehabbing old buildings and getting the tax credits. So, I mean, there seems to be a conflict between what he said and what you just said.
well, first, I think if we sat here and debated, your head would implode because finding logic year to year to year with MHTC and the political people involved becomes hard to tie anything consistent, okay? But what he did say is correct, what I just said, using historic credits and state.
I understood that.
That really became a line in the sand with the politicians. So that was out. Okay, then it's true if any cost, by the way, it doesn't matter if it's historic or non-historic, if your cost per unit gets high, you always are now challenged by MHTC to drive the cost down. To put in more rules and do all sorts of things, but to drive the cost down. We have achieved that in our changes to the building, and we tore off the most expensive part of that building, which was the gym. It was going to be these gorgeous spaces, but we wouldn't get the rent for what would be these fabulous townhouse kind of spaces. So we have done the things to become inconsistent with MHTC's requirements, and we are within their cost parameters now.
So if they juxtaposed his project of 40 units and his cost per unit and juxtapose that to your 48 units and your cost per unit, are you confident that yours will be close to the cost per unit?
I am confident, and then MHTC, if they're which they should be the judge of two projects and presumably you'd support both projects. I don't know, I would. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't want his project to be funded. It's a good project. I don't want somebody, it's a bad project who wouldn't support it, but then they can look at it, is it better to be in the city with a historic property that's almost the same cost? Or is it better to do a more, I'll call suburban or a new construction slab on grade? Good project too, because obviously there's a waiting list. The one thing that is good, it's clear the city of Moberly has a demand for senior housing. And that would be, there are towns, and I won't name them, I've been to a few, where they don't have people showing up because there aren't people there anymore to occupy the units. And that's very sad, because then you have a development that's got vacancy and nobody there. So Moberly is a solid town. People want to live here. People are staying. There's jobs. So that's.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't, but he heard him.
Just
What?
to clarify, the question was, do we have to go to RFP? Randall, you said no, there's no requirement for it. Okay.
And then, did we have anyone else tonight that would like to come in front of the council to address this subject? No? Okay. What's next, Brian? Yeah, mine did too.
Depot Park project.
Are we looking at moving this forward, or?
I was gonna say, what are we doing on these two?
Our presumption would be that they both get moved forward, and then you all can vote and decide at the
I'm sorry,
council.
Brian,
I think our presumption would be that you move them forward, and then you can vote accordingly at the council meeting.
This
guys
is just
okay
a
with that?
work session agenda.
Are you okay with that, moving both of them
Are
forward?
we going to have a chance that, and this is, and, you know, this still boggles my mind being fairly new on this board, but because of the, what's the word I'm looking for, sunshine laws, that it seems like we don't really sometimes get a chance to really meet the, and discuss it fully among ourselves, and that's what I'm concerned about, that we won't have that opportunity if we vote to move this forward. I'm open, I mean, I'm just looking for some clarity. I would like a session at some point that that the five of us, and along with you guys, can discuss this and as a group, and that we can hash out our thoughts on it. So, again, you know, the procedural issues on this sometimes bog us down, but I think there's a lot of questions that we have and a lot of thoughts that we have among the five of us that as to whether or not we want to recommend one or both of them, and questions like that. So,
Well, I would, if I could, this is your chance to discuss and hash out in public
right.
a resolution of support. Now, if we're looking at some type of a contract that we're looking at, some type of a negotiation on, then I think there's opportunity for you to do it in closed session. But really, this is the method for you all hashing it out publicly.
Well, I guess at this time, then, I'm going to make a couple of thoughts here. We did get an email from another firm who expressed his thoughts about, he had spent a lot of time and effort and money looking at it, and he is and I wanted to give him an opportunity if he wanted, if he had ideas, different ideas on the project. We certainly don't want to shut out our local construction people, but that being said, if he's not going to talk, I'm assuming that that's not a.
I think he is. He's got a green card.
He's filling out his green card.
Okay.
Well,
And then second of all, we have I mean, I understand the issue here of the 7 years and of futility, so to speak, that we haven't been able to get these, but I think from what we heard last week, or last council meeting from the public, is that there's a huge interest in developing the junior high school. And again, we as a council also, or I myself, worry about this thing turning into a money pit. I mean, I was hesitant to buy it back to start with, but I was convinced it made sense after listening to everybody else's thoughts on it. So I still don't want it to turn into a money pit. It cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and still we don't get it developed, and we have no benefit for it. So, and that worries me. But so if we have a chance, was presented here tonight, it does seem that the changes have been made, and it makes sense that you know, he's kind of, I would have said coming into this meeting, I was totally against giving you another chance at it. I've kind of changed my mind on that. It seems like what you have said makes sense to me, that you've made the right changes, and hopefully that the MHDC will grant you these. So I'm open to that. I'm also open to, I mean, certainly am open to the first gentleman's proposal to build out there. I tend to say that if we supported both of you, I don't know if that would make a difference. I'm not in on the politics in Jeff City as how the MHDC would look at it, but I would support both projects myself on this, and wish you the best of luck on it. And I'll shut up and let some other people talk.
Okay. I just want to clarify a couple of things. One, I would not like to endorse one program over the other one. I think both have merits, and we need both opportunities. But I want to make sure I understand that by December, we'll have a decision on your go or no-go. Is that correct? That's when the funding...
I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to be sure that MHTC has not announced when the applications are to be done, but we all assume you have to do September or sometime soon to get a December approval, because MHTC does have to approve the 2020 credits by the end of the year.
Okay,
we
so
all are presuming.
December or January would know whether you're...
And if we're not,
All right, because I think it's important, I don't want to lose a project because of this, but I think we know then by January, let's say, that you're in or out. And if they're out, that's when I think we need to look at RFPs. And speaking to your point and to your concern as well, I think that we develop that building. We've had a lot of pressure from people, citizens, that we want to develop it. So whatever else it could be or whatever, we do that. So it looks like we have a win-win here, that we could have the possibility of a win-win. My only position is I can't support one over the other. I think they're both needed, and I would support both of them with a letter, knowing that we have an end date on the one, and then have the opportunity to jump to the RFPs and find another use for that building. Does that make any sense at all? Right. Okay.
So, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if you have something, go ahead.
Well, I just have a comment. I'd like to listen to the next person to see what he has to say, and then, I think both projects sound very worthy. I mean, it'd be great for Moberly to get both of them, but I am interested to hear the next speaker to see what he has to say.
And
Okay.
I think you got a problem there because we haven't put RFPs out. So what does he need to speak to?
I don't know.
What's that?
He's got a right to speak on the issue. I don't see a problem with that. Procedurally.
Welcome.
Hey, how are you all tonight? My name is Jeff Lawrence. I own a construction company here in Moberly and much real estate with my wife. As you all, I am the guilty party of the email. I did not believe that I was going to be able to attend this evening. I was supposed to have a meeting with the client, and they backed out at the last moment, so I took the evening that I was already planning to be out of the house and came down here to listen to this, and didn't realize it was going to be that big of an evening, so I'm glad I attended. I was contacted by Mr. Crane about a month and a half ago to see if we had any interest in doing anything with the junior high building. You refer to it as the high school, I refer to it as the junior high. It shows us what year we went through the building. What?
Junior high.
Okay.
Be careful.
Liar.
No? Junior high.
Be very careful.
I think he said junior college.
Oh, wow. That would be awesome. I have no intentions of telling you this evening what grandiose plans that we have for the building, but we have spent a lot of time working on that, and we have use for the building. I know that other people have told you that they want to tear the building down. We do not. We want to save the building. We want to use the building for a different purpose of what it was built for, along the lines of some other projects that have been proposed in the downtown area. That's as far as I'll go with that. We are extremely interested in the project. I won't say that we would not be interested in the project come January, but I also think that since the city came to us and to two other individuals that I know and have talked to about it, that we be given a shot at it. And that's the part that somewhat confuses us on our side, is that we were used in the equation of talking you into buying the building back, and then we're not given a chance to do this. If the grants are approved, they're going to get the building and they're going to go on with it. And we've wasted a lot of time and a lot of effort in developing some plans for it, because it's not something that we would go build a specific building to do what we want to do with the inside of the building. So that's our take on it. I know you're not voting on it tonight. Moving it forward does not change anything as far as I'm concerned. I think you still need to move it forward, and then you vote on it at the next meeting, and that's up to you guys how you vote. So,
Any
or
questions?
comments?
Do you anticipate applying for tax credits in
No.
the following year?
No. I will not have any tax credits with ours. Ours would be private funded.
Does your intention have any, and you kind of been vague on what your intentions are with the
That
building?
will remain that way. You're going to put it out for RFP. I can't disclose what I'm going to do with the building when there's two other people who've already said they want to do something with that space. So I won't. Yeah. So, sorry.
The low-income housing related.
I'm not going to give you anything.
How about, if you
I'm
need,
not going to build a new city hall. I'm not going to build a bank.
if you need funding, have you been pre-approved
No, I have
for your loans yet?
I have not.
Okay, you're not to that level yet?
No.
then? Okay, thanks.
Can we do 20 questions on this?
You can play poker with me. You can do whatever you want to do. You're going to lose. So,
Okay,
All right.
any other questions? Thank,
Not
Okay.
enough, I just.
oh, yes.
My concern is number one, it's the same administration as it's been the last couple of years. So I'm not really sure what changes between now and the end of the year. And number two, like, as I said earlier, I believe in making sure that we're getting the biggest bang for our buck for our citizens. And I still believe that an RFP is the way to go to make sure that we're getting the best thing. If you open it up and let developers come in and say, hey, we can do this with this space, the folks at Tannehill are welcome to come in on that as well. I don't understand what's wrong with giving them a chance to see, are we getting the best, is this project as cool as it is for that building? Are there even better projects out there? How do we know? And they've had multiple, you've had 3, there's been multiple attempts. I think it's time, without really seeing a change in administration, it's not like we've got a whole new administration this fall. I think that it's time to put it out to RFP and see what happens. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, the only concern I can see there would be the time limit. You know, we're almost to the end of July, and if they need to send in for tax credits to get hopefully approval, they need to do that by the 1st of September. So I don't think we can turn it around that quick. But thanks for your comments, though. Anything else? Right.
They're welcome to apply to the RFP, and if they're the best option, then they can apply next year.
Yeah. Okay. We have one more speaker?
And not as Randolph County. My name is Lorna Miles with Randolph County Care and Community Partnership. And like that gentleman back there, I didn't realize what was going to be discussed tonight. And as a community citizen, I just want to say the second project, utilizing the old junior high, is looking at multiple systems here in the county or in the city. So it's looking at housing, it's looking at social services. We also discussed with that group in St. Louis about possibly using the basement for a clinic, because we're working on a free clinic. So in favor, as a community citizen, we are actually in favor for the second project that spoke. So that's all I want to say.
Okay.
Could I ask you, when you say "we," who are you referring to?
That's it, yeah.
Randolph County Care and Community Partnership. There's a group called ECHO that works with free nonprofit clinics. We have a doctor already set that's been a doctor for years here in Moberly that is willing to utilize a part of the school and have a free clinic offered downstairs. We also said we was going to give community health workers and do social service projects in that area as well. So I'm just talking as a citizen in favor for the second project.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
What's up next, Brian?
We need to vote to move this
Who's on
forward.
first?
We need to vote
Are you
to,
moving all forward? Is it
we need
everything moving forward?
a head nod to move all this forward, or?
Can we
Or-
vote 4 and 5 to move that forward? It seemed like.
This is a work session. I would recommend that you move everything forward.
Just move it forward, and then we can vote on it next council meeting.
Okay.
Thank
Are
you.
you talking all 8 items forward? Okay.
This next amount is a contribution request from the Downtown Community Improvement District to make the restrooms at the Depot Park year-round. So we got a quote from the developer on what it would cost. So this is a request to actually, the Downtown Community Improvement District felt like it was important to the downtown to have that as a year-round restroom. So they are wanting to contribute that roughly $7,000 to make sure that new restroom is HVAC.
Sounds good to me.
Y'all okay with that?
Funding for that, what is roughly $7,000?
Yeah, that's
And
from
that comes
the
from the CID?
CID property tax.
Okay with that, Austin? Okay, we'll move that forward.
My computer locked up on me and I lost my screen. Okay, this next one is we were contacted by the Randolph County Democrats for the property at 220 West Reed Street. If you remember, we acquired that property a few years ago, and there's a couple units that have never been used, or every once in a while for a few months we'll let somebody use that, and they're desirous of the facility for a few months, and this is an agreement to allow them to be in that 220 West Reed facility that's currently vacant in a property that we own, to rent through October 31st, I believe. So we're recommending that that be approved.
You guys okay with that? Moving that one forward? Okay, move that forward, Brian.
The last one is a change order for Morley Street project with S&A Equipment. This is a increase in the scope on the water line improvements. Mary, do you want to add anything? So it's roughly about $20,000 increase. So if you remember, there were 2 water mains on Morley Street. The west side of Morley Street was very deteriorated. And as part of this project, we're eliminating that water main and changing it and connecting it into the east side water main. And this is an adjustment on the quantities once they started working, for about $20,000. But this is hopefully going to improve the water flow for a lot of those businesses on the west side that had quite a few breakage throughout the years. Tim, I'm sure County Bank had those quite a few times.
occasionally. You guys okay with this one moving forward? Austin? Okay, we'll move that forward. Anything else, Brian?
That is all I have.
Okay. Austin has one more question.
Promise is the last one tonight.
Would someone please make a note of that?
And that is, and this is for Tom and Brian, but the question is that if we wait until December or January to get the answer on the junior high, are we going to spend money to improve the junior high between now and then? Because we're concerned about it becoming a money pit. Are we going to be asking to put money into the building?
I don't want to.
Neither do I, but I'm asking right now, are we planning on putting any money? Because in your report, it was $100,000 plus to secure the building. Windows don't look good over there, there's boards that are falling apart. Are we planning on spending money in this building between now and December?
Our biggest concern was the roof. You'll see, I sent out an email.
$117,000, yep.
117 for a new roof, and a Band-Aid is about 5 to 10 grand, roughly. The roofer doesn't think that the damage that's already caused is going to drastically change. So he wouldn't recommend spending 10 grand repairing it if we're going to put a new one on within the next year.
So between now and January, we don't plan to spend any money on that building at this moment.
We don't plan on it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the biggest concern.
That's our concerns about the money pit and spending a lot of money on this building, because that's why we approved buying it, was because we knew we had several people interested in the building. And I just want to clarify that.
That's why our goal is to unload it as quick as possible.
Okay. I think I need a motion to adjourn and to go to closed session.
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need roll call on that? Nope.
Yes.
Thank you.